Mike O'Mara, Radio Entertainment.
Hello, my name is Mike, and today's show is brought to you by our Amazon page. Please remember to shop at MikeO'MaraShow.com/Amazon. It's quite simply the best way to support this show. If you need it, Amazon has it, and you can get it at MikeO'MaraShow.com/Amazon. Bookmark it, please.
Available on demand every day in iTunes and the Google Play Store and around the world on MikeO'MaraShow.com. What more can we do for you? It's the Mike O'Mara Show.
You know, Oscar, a very wise man once told me, when you're in a hole, the best thing to do is to stop digging.
Stop digging.
But Donald Sterling does not agree with this. Let's call him up and see how the man is doing.
I love your phone.
It's really... The fidelity will shock you. I know you think it's old-fashioned.
Well, it seems like so much work.
Well, and you know what? I heard the word you used. You said it was ghetto.
It was ghetto.
It was ghetto.
Ghetto.
And he usually picks up after the third ring. We spoke to his wife yesterday, his estranged wife.
Yeah.
This should be Donald
She was a
Sterling.
peach.
The great lady. Owner of the Los Angeles Clippers.
You've reached 555. 5555. No one is here to take your call right now. Please leave a message at the tone.
What a tone.
Mr. Sterling.
This is the Mike O'Mara Show calling for Don Sterling.
We had you scheduled for 11 a.m. We were pre-calling for the interview. We will call back in just a moment.
So we should hang up now. Thank you. And then we will redial. You know what? Maybe he was doing something. Could have been in the kitchen.
Well, you know what the deal with him is apparently...
Hold on, I'm dialing here.
Oh, you got to focus?
5, 4. Yeah, okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Apparently, he's been doing all these interviews, so I figured he'd want to pick up the phone.
He came to us right after AC.
You think he'd have an assistant as well?
Anderson
which is
Cooper.
strange.
Maybe the assistant quit.
Could have.
Bad time to work for him.
Hello, Sterling residence.
Oh!
Hi, may we please speak to Donald Sterling?
Who's calling, please?
Well, who is this?
This is Mr. Sterling's houseboy.
Oh, do you have a name?
Yes?
What is it?
Do you really want to know?
I do.
George.
George, this is Rob Spiewak and
Jorge.
Oh, I don't know.
Oscar Santana
Yes.
from the Mike O'Mara Show.
Yes, can I ask what this is in reference to?
Oscar?
Yes, we have a meeting scheduled with Mr. Sterling, and it's we're actually 5 minutes early. We're hoping we can get him on there now because we're in the middle of a break.
Un momento.
Thank you, George. Oh, and George, are you there?
Yes?
Disregard the voicemail that we left a moment ago.
Yes, please.
Will do. One moment, please.
You know, it's funny with all of this, hoopla, this media attention, we didn't know anything about the houseboy.
Didn't know about that.
And odd that he would be a houseboy and not an assistant.
Yeah.
Yes, hello, are you with me?
Yes.
Hi, is this
Mr. Sterling is having his bath.
Oh.
Really?
Yes. What time was your meeting scheduled for?
At 11 a.m. Right now, we are now exactly 5 minutes away from 11 a.m. We wanted to pre-call.
Un momento.
Thank you, George.
His bath.
Yeah.
Do you wake up and take a bath?
No, if I take a bath, it's usually an evening thing.
Yeah,
and
you
I
wanna
very
relax.
seldom. To save time, what I do?
Hello?
Oh, George?
Jesus.
Yes, Mr. Sterling said he'll take your call in his bath, but you're going to have to call back in 5 seconds.
Okay.
Thank you
What?
so much.
Toodaloo.
Bye,
Thank you.
George.
Well, you know what he probably has? He gets the rich
Let me
rich
dial.
man's phone.
Yeah.
The rich man's phone.
With the gold?
Yeah, usually in Vegas, it's in the bathroom, but it's next to the tub, I'm sure.
So he wants to probably pick up
Yes,
on his own.
clearly.
It's probably one of those phones that has the mouthpiece that swings under.
With gold.
Yeah, like a very French provincial looking
Beautiful.
thing. Classy bathroom, I'm sure.
Hello.
Hello, is this George?
Oh.
Hello.
What kind? Mr. Sterling?
Oh, that was fun.
Mr. Sterling,
Hello.
Appreciate you-
Donald Sterling here. Yeah.
appreciate
all right.
you accommodating the time. We're a little early, but for broadcast purposes, we are on the air now.
Yes.
Thank you for
Well, I'm
joining us.
having my bath.
And I understand we appreciate you moving your schedule around for us. Will you entertain a
I'm
question?
having my bath.
Will you entertain one question off topic before we go on?
Sure, I will, yeah.
What kind of telephone do you have that keeps ringing even after you answer it?
Oh, there you are. Okay. I understand guys like you.
It's redundancy.
Hey, I don't look, I think I've said all I need to say. These interviews are becoming very tedious.
what more do I have to say?
Well, then why did you reach out to us?
What?
Why
Mr.
did you reach out to us if you said everything you've had to say?
I didn't reach out to you. My people said that the guys that do the podcast want to do an interview with you, and they've got a little history with you. So they want to do, and they, well, not a history with me, but they've had their problems. Let me see. I've got the paper in front of me.
Please.
Rob Spiewak.
In the tub, you have paper?
Yeah. You were arrested once, weren't you?
Oh, did you go on that website?
All right, yeah, I see that.
It's a tough book, a floating laptop.
Well, I was on safebackgroundchecks.com.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, Oscar?
Chaz?
Have you beaten up anybody yet?
No.
Have you got a problem with women, don't you?
This is extraordinarily off topic.
Why is everybody picking on me? I've said my piece.
Well, you know
I've
what?
said my piece. I don't understand. I'm tired. Yeah. What?
We're not picking on you. What we want is an answer or some sort of reply. Can you answer to what Irvin Magic Johnson said to Anderson Cooper?
Come on. I don't want to get it. I didn't mean anything. He's got AIDS.
Well, no, he doesn't.
Come on.
He's HIV positive.
Yeah, too many.
What does that even mean?
No, look, if they're going to attack me, I'm not going to, I'm trying to get along with them. I'm trying, huh?
What is them?
Who are them?
The people that are complaining about me, those people.
What, can you name names or be more
No, you know
specific?
who they are. Come on. Hey, I've seen pictures of you. You know who they are.
Have you been on my Instagram?
Look, can I tell you something? It's very simple, right?
Right.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
They are not us. And I'm talking to the one guy, not the other one, if you know what I mean, right?
I really
he's
don't.
talking-
Do you mean like Anderson Cooper?
Yeah, no. Boy, I tell you, it's like getting through to you. I need to crack the egg, get through that skull.
Mr. Sterling.
Skull. Let me talk to him.
Yeah.
Okay. He's
this
probably
is Oscar
upset.
Fernando Zabayos.
Oscar.
I remember the last interview. Hello, how are you? How are you feeling today?
Why are you yelling, Mr. Sterling?
I just want to make sure you understand me. I don't want 500 of your relatives in my backyard, with their shovels trying to beat me to death.
Or
Why?
make a garden.
Oh, well.
Well,
Like the joke wasn't already there.
Yeah.
Some people that are really have problems with this material have to hit the joke one more time just so you can really understand
Let's
it. Thank you for
clear up the racism.
Yes, thank you for the
Yeah.
gardening reference, you mallet head. All
How's
right, yes.
Word association, and the reason for this exercise is
I love that game. They were talking about doing that with me where they were going to do word association. I'll play that with you.
It's simply because people are questioning your mental state.
Yes.
Right.
So please,
Right.
Rob, the first word.
The first word, bathtub.
Bathtub? Water.
Water. Good.
Yeah.
All
How
right.
about that? How's that? All right. How's that for your dementia?
NBA.
Sad.
No.
Yeah. Larry Bird.
Player.
Big Mac.
Food.
Excellent. V. Stiviano.
Slut.
Oh, you don't like her?
No, I don't.
Do you feel, you know what? Can we step away from word association just for a
Please.
second? Do you feel that you were foolish in dating a woman nearly 90 years younger than you?
Age is just a state of mind. Look to your own coworkers and do that. Now I'm waiting for some more word association
Yes.
because
Hello.
that'll kick us to the main
Yeah.
thing here, the
Right.
main
Hello.
joke. Now
Right.
see if you two can figure it out for Christ's sake.
T-cell count.
Magic. It's the Mike O'Mara Show. You can listen to the Mike O'Mara Show at www.mikeomarashow.com.
Stay tuned for an outstanding entertainment program.
It's the Mike O'Mara Show.
Let's get down to business.
From the entertainment capital of the world.
I don't know what to do, Rabbi. Every night he listens to the radio. I can't keep him away. I say go to the beach, play in the sun, get some fresh air. No. The Lone Ranger, the Shadow, the Masked Avenger.
This is not good. This boy needs discipline. Radio. It's all right once in a while. Otherwise, it tends to induce bad values, false dreams, lazy habits. Listening to the radio, these stories of foolishness and violence, this is no way for a boy to grow up.
You speak the truth, my faithful Indian companion.
Rabbi, you say my faithful Indian companion?
Hey, don't hit my son.
What kind of upbringing is this?
Look, I'll hit him, but...
Because you are too lenient.
Oh, I'm lenient? What? That's lenient? That's lenient?
I am a faithful Indian? Such an impertinence?
Rabbi, I will teach him some manners. You and that radio.
Think that's lenient?
Enough, you'll hurt the boy.
It's the Mike O'Mara Show. Mike O'Mara, Rob Speedwagon, Oscar Santana. And now, from his easy chair, here's Mike.
We are live from the Copy Fiber Studios. This is the Mike O'Mara Show. We are broadcasting all over the planet. We are powered by Encore Insurance Services with over 23.5 million downloads. We are at MikeO'MaraShow.com and we are heard over there on the mighty 1630 Kaiser, Georgia, in the heart of the heartland. Go Hawks!
I would like to take a brief.
What kind of hawk are they?
Hawkeyes.
Oh, the Hawkeye bird.
Yes, and I would like to take a brief poll, if it's okay. Scott Poll. Scott Poll is our listener of the day out there in KCJJ land. Hello, Scott.
Way to go. Greetings, Scott Poll. Okay, good. The Mike O'Mara Show is a daily radio show and podcast with the greatest listener in the world. Why?
Why, Wolfgang?
Because they get it. Like my food. They get it.
Yeah, it's at Spago.
Today's show is brought to you by Encore Insurance Services, LLC. If you're out there shopping insurance, it's hard to know which company offers the best value. Encore Insurance is there to help. Encore will survey the most highly rated companies in the insurance industry to compare premiums. Every now and then we do our real push for Encore because they are one of the biggest supporters we have on the Mike O'Mara Show. So we'd like you to give them a call today just to do us a personal favor. 866-347-5748. What do you get when you do that? You'll get a free life insurance quote. At the very, very least, you can find out what it would cost you to have a life insurance policy, which you probably need already. It's all free. There's no obligation. No salesman will visit you. If you prefer computers, just visit smartterm.com. Let me spell it out for you, SMARTTERM.com. That is where you will find the license disclaimer and quality customer service. Encore Insurance Services, LLC. Stop paying too much for life insurance. Protect your family the smart way at smartterm.com.
Oh, yeah.
And greetings. Yeah, Oscar, I think it's a cable on my end.
Okay, we can address that. No problem.
We have a little in-house video system that we communicate on here, and it was kind of bleaching before.
Sexy time.
So I just think, when I goes black on my screen down here, that's me. Yeah. That's me communicating with the TV. That's exactly what
That's what happened to Donald Sterling.
Yes, that's the way it works. I'm out of sorts anyway today because I didn't get a chance to talk to you guys about it yesterday. But I am. I would be lying if I wasn't. Going to the chiropractor the other day, and he says, "Does this hurt? Does this hurt?" And then I just do the, it's one of the. He said, "Well, let me lift your leg up here and then move it over to the right." That's it. And it was the needles that came in. Now, here's what I thought I had, and here's what I may have thought I have had for my entire adult life.
Really?
I have been playing since my mid-30s. I've been playing golf, and
at a high level.
I was a 7 handicap, so I wasn't a slouch. Let me put it that way.
Tell us about your years on the Pro-Am, Mike.
When I was playing when Lee Elder and I broke onto the PGA Tour.
You always played with Lee Elder, didn't you?
Oh, the beating that man took verbally.
You always had the best parking.
Yes, absolutely. I don't know what that means.
Because you're handicapped.
I do not know.
Because he's making a handicap joke.
Okay.
That was funny.
Lee Elder,
it was a good try.
Thank you.
It was Lee Elder, one of the first African-American golfers.
Right.
That's, before Tiger, there was Lee Elder and other people, Charlie Sifford.
Chi-Chi.
But the fact is,
not African American.
My mid-30s on, whenever I would play golf, and it's gotten worse as time has gone, I always feel as though I can't. Well, you know what? You're going to mock me whatever I say, so let me just say what it is.
I will never do that.
When I play golf, I feel as though I cannot stretch my groin muscle out enough.
Oh.
Now, Mike, Really?
You know when you see, like, you go to a hockey game and you see Alex Ovechkin before the game and they're doing that thing where they squat down on the ice and they're going back. They're getting that deep groin stretch. And then if you go to a
I can do
baseball
it right
game,
here for you right now.
Please
a
don't.
groin
I know
stretch.
exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. The type of groin. Then you go to a baseball game, and those are the luxury pampered
my
athletes
God.
there. You see them, they come out there, and they've got those trainer guys that do the groin stretch where they lift the leg up and they do that. Well, anyway, I bought years and years ago, I think you guys know this. Oscar, you've probably seen this. I bought a stretch trainer. You know that stretch machine that I have up on the second floor?
I thought that was a sex swing.
Yeah, so did I.
You probably looks like a sex
I was like,
swing.
well, something's going on up here. I'm going to close this door and walk away quietly.
Walk away backwards.
Yeah.
Don't break eye contact.
I have this thing, and because I couldn't ever get a deep enough stretch. And so the other day, after getting a little crack for the back, and I thought, I'll give it a whack, and I go out there, and I feel, oh my God, I really the best way I can describe it, I felt as though I may have even torn a groin muscle.
Jeez.
Just doing it, but it's not. The chiropractor says no, not a groin muscle.
How does the stretch thing work? Do you hang upside down like Batman?
No, you sit there and it's got one part of it that's stationary. And then the other part moves. So the actual handlebars that you sit on and the base of the unit is stationary, and then it's got a seat that is a moving seat, so that when you put your butt into the seat and you put your little feet up in the base, you can move your body back and forth, getting the proper stretch.
Understood. Okay, thank you.
If you want a visual and you're over 21, there are adult size sites that you can go on to that have a category, and usually they're tied up to this seat, and so you can tell. But the ladies aren't stretching there; they're doing other things.
Well, they're stretching other people's groin for them.
Oscar, I don't know if we're shutting everything down in there now when we do the show, but if you could look up Precor Stretch Trainer.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. That was not a cheap machine.
No, it is not a cheap machine.
Oh, my God.
And it wasn't a cheap machine 10 years ago when I got the thing. It wasn't cheap.
Wow.
But I thought for years and years this is what I need. So he says to me, well, no, that's not a groin thing. You could stretch all day and you'd still hurt. I said, well, why is that? He said, because you got a bad hip. No!
Hey, Grandpa.
No,
That's good, Grandpa. Here's a song for you, Gramps.
That's right. Hey, everybody. Mike O'Mara moves down to Florida, gets all the ailments the old people get. That's right. It's a knee. It's a shoulder. And, hey, guess what? It's tradition when you're elderly. He's got a bad hip. Hallelujah.
Guys, be honest.
You're going to have to play that like 90 times today, Rob. I swear to God.
Here in the studio.
Yeah.
When you see this machine for the first time, doesn't it look like it's built for pleasure?
Let me see.
Here you go.
Yeah, especially with those stirrups.
Yeah, like those are handcuffs, basically.
They're handcuffs. They actually you attach your hand to that so that your body doesn't fly off the machine.
And you also have to say
yes. Give me that again. Give me a little more send on that Yui so I know what I'm doing here, baby. Okay. All right. Let me tell you what I got planned today on Mike O'Mara Ranch. It's going to be a fabulous day, everybody. We're going to be heading downtown to Fort Myers, Florida, to see an orthopedic surgeon. That's right. Hopefully he's not going to have to cut on me, but he's going to take a look at my X-ray and tell me that he's going to confirm that I've got a crappy, happy hip. Yeah, it's very frustrating. Have it ready again, Rob.
How long do you think you have suffered from a bad hip without knowing you have a bad hip?
Well, if I'm taking a look at everything, I got to say that I got to go back in time and take a look at that lower groin area. Boy, I always thought it was a deep groin muscle pull. Oh, boy, was I wrong. You see, it appears to be a little bone-on-bone action. Oh, boy. How about those little shards of bone sticking into the nerve? Anyway, the hip, I don't know, but it has been on my mind.
Sure.
The chiropractor said this is not something, in his opinion, that is severe enough where there would be any surgery warranted, but he wanted to send me to his hip guy, an orthopedic guy.
Hey, man, how are you? I'm a doctor.
Hey, doctor. How you doing? The doctor will probably come walking in and say, hey, Mr. O'Mara, let's take a look at that X-ray. Okay, we're going to go over to the hip bone. Hit it, Rob. Thank you very much. Yes, that's what I meant. Thank you. No, not with the jingles. I wanted to go right into the music, but that's okay. Well, I'm taking a look at Mike's X-ray right now. Let me see there. Yeah, a little arthritic condition in the joint. Ooh, boy, must have been some hard living going on with there. Some smoking, some drinking. None of that Mary Jane, though. But that hip is just about to go.
What is the average age for a hip replacement?
I don't know. You could look that up.
I'll look. I didn't know if the doctor said,
put
"Hey,
you to work today, Oz."
No
Right,
problem.
yeah.
You know, Sammy got a hip towards the end, Mike, from years of dancing. He just wore it out.
Prince got a hip.
That's true. That's true.
Prince got a hip. I don't look. I have had enough poking and prodding throughout my existence, and it is so elderly.
It is.
I have always thought that it is so elderly to have the very fact that I am going to this guy today to have him look at it and tell me I am filled with more dread. Look, if there's something wrong, the bottom line is that I'm going to fix it. I'm going to get it fixed. I'm going to take care of it. That's it. But at the same time, I just go, Jesus, not again. I've had more holes put in me, and you know, and somebody's going to say, well, maybe it's because you're a fat F. Maybe that's why you. Well, that's fine. I can accept that. But the fact is, I think it's genetics. Guess who had a back surgery when he was in his 40s? My father. Guess who had it in his 40s? Me.
Yeah.
Guess who fell on some rocks and blew his knee up and ended up having a bad knee? Guess who fell in a bar fight?
That's right.
DC
After
and
drinking
had a
something
B.
that was
So
after
that's not
drinking
genetic.
something that was on the rocks, though.
But
So
the fact-
it is a similarity.
Yes, right. But the one thing I remember, my old man back in the day, he got one of the when they first were doing those, he got a hip replacement. And guess who is terrified that they're going to say, I'm going to need that kind of thing? I don't want to deal with any of that. I don't want to have any kind of surgery.
Well, they have come a
any
long
kind.
way. I mean, they don't make them out of wood anymore, and they last
This is true.
indefinitely.
It was cherry, Rob. It was good, solid cherry.
It was beautiful. Now, you mentioned it, and I wasn't going to bring it up, but you and I share certain traits, and one of the things we at least hear from a doctor, we at least like to hear, did the chiropractor mention your weight?
Yeah, the chiropractor, but he said it's not hip related. He said that.
Okay,
You know, this is
all right.
he said genetics, and but the fact is,
Well, you
anytime
do
you're
the rough
wearing,
math. Yeah, I mean, you're going to get there right now.
Yeah, the fact is,
Yeah.
when you put any added weight on, you're putting pressure on all your joints. But this is something where, look, I saw the X-ray of it. I can't tell. It's all a cartilage thing, man. And my cartilage sucks, and my cartilage has always sucked. So I don't know what it's going to be, but I think he's going to dance in there and maybe give me some bad news. But who knows?
I've
Yes,
got
Oscar.
the average age for a hip replacement, and it is the usual hip replacement happens after age 65.
There, so I think I'm going to be okay.
You're going to be okay.
I think I'm going to be A-okay.
So you're right in there, Mike.
Or perhaps the doctor could open the office door and come walking in and saying to me right now, hey, Mr. Romero, we took a look at the X-ray. We don't even need an MRI to tell you right now that there is absolutely nothing left. We're talking bone-on-bone action. That's right, excruciating pain. Get the knife. We're going to cut on you right now.
The hip is also tricky. As you probably recall, before Dominique retired from the Ravens, my friend that played in the NFL, he had a chipped hip. He actually his bone was actually chipped.
Oh, wow.
Hip. He had to go have surgery for that. He was having similar problems. Now he played in the NFL for 8 years, so you can imagine.
Do you
all
have
those
to
impacts.
replace it, or is there any
It
sort
wasn't
of repair?
replaced. It was
You can
a
repair it?
surgery to repair.
Now, Mike, do you think this would explain why your left leg is 4 inches shorter than your right?
Imagine the impact, though, of me walking in and out of Iguana Mia all the time. In to get the guacamole, out. In to get the guacamole,
How many
out.
dining room chairs you've destroyed that poor hip?
Absolutely. Yes, there he gets back to the dining room chairs again. A little screwdriver will tighten that one up for you. That's all you need to do is get a little one and tighten it up. So I'm filled with great dread today. But listen, the fact is, the other thing he asked me, he said, when you're sitting, sometimes when you get up, does it pop? And that's when I said, yeah, absolutely. Where I'll be sitting like in one of these lawn chair, patio chair type of things, and I'm sitting for a long time, and I get up and it goes, oh
man.
God!
Oh, that's
my
bad.
God!
That's bad.
So, and incidentally, I know all the amateurs are going to be weighing in with me right now and letting me know what the deal is, but we'll have to wait and see about that. I am hoping, and incidentally, I will also go with the Jerry Glanville needle.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll take that.
Sure.
He said, "Well, the chiropractor said to me, well, that's a rather painful cortisone shot to get in that area." But we're going to say I am wide open. Anything to keep me out of the knife is
And you
important.
know what, Mike? I know that you're dreading this. I can see it in your lovely blue eyes. What if I gave you a distraction that would make this afternoon's appointment more fun for you?
What's that?
When you walk into the doctor's office, assume the walk and the voice of Walter Brennan.
And how would he sound if he was talking up Huey Lewis? Let's give that a try, shall we? Power 105. This is Walter Brennan. Yes, sirree. Yeah, we're going to go fight those bad guys. Put a little lead in them. That'll fix them. That'll take the fight out of them. Good luck with your hip, you fat cup of goo. Thank you.
But you'd have to limp in, but a really definitive limp, a fast limp.
I have a silver
lining. Play that
lining.
music in the background going...
I have a silver
Oscar.
lining. If you do have surgery, at least they could probably take that bone and you can give it to Beluga.
Wouldn't that be cool if they got to keep?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I don't think they removed that much bone. It's not like they're taking a brontosaurus bone out and putting it on the floor. I think they do a little shaving and.
I thought the hip replacement was you would get like
a whole new hip.
Yeah, a whole new hip.
Well, I don't think I need that. I don't think I'm going to need that situation. I don't know.
Luckily, Mike,
be over with.
The best possible scenario is they just take out enough bone, just enough, Mike, to clone you.
Winter's bone.
Or you can do the show from your hospital bed. We'll just have to get TMOS imprinted hospital sheets.
Exactly.
So it looks like he's there.
Thanks for the
but he's
sympathy,
not
boys.
there.
Or the curtains that go around the bed.
Oh, for privacy.
Yes, TMOS privacy curtains.
Nice.
Now available at our website.
Always a pleasure, boys. Always a pleasure. We're going to take a break. When we come back, the American educational system and Julia Spiewak, a girl who might simply be too smart for our public school teachers, and a very funny story from Rob Spiewak when we come back on the Mike O'Mara Show.
But where it came from, I don't really know. And I heard these voices calling all over.
Welcome back to the Mike O'Mara Show. This portion of our program is brought to you by Card Counter. Anytime anybody ever rolls into a casino, you always say to yourself, man, I would love to be able to work the system.
Sure,
And,
absolutely.
There's really no way to do it. Even if you're the most knowledgeable player, you have an advantage. That's about it. And when they talk about Ben Affleck getting booted out of a casino because they thought he was card counting, I should point out, it's not illegal.
No.
So the bottom line is, if you go in and you're armed with some knowledge in a casino and you want to go to a blackjack table, I think the advantage, anything you can get away with as far as, when you're not actually cheating,
right.
If you're working on a skill, I think you got an advantage. So here's a good way to do it. We're talking about Card Counter. Introducing Card Counter 4.0. That is the fastest way to learn blackjack card counting. Maybe you saw the movie 21, the movie with Kevin Spacey,
yes,
where they were all trying to beat the casino. The kids from MIT, they did that. They actually won millions doing it. And really, ultimately, if a casino says you're doing this, they can say bye-bye. But,
right.
The average schmo that goes in there and learns a little card counting, who knows? Maybe it'll give you an edge. It'll teach you the same counting system that was used by some of the people that have won millions of dollars, and I'm not exaggerating. It's available right now for free on all iOS and Android devices. Just download Card Counter free by Tmos and quickly learn everything you need to know, whether you're on a plane to Las Vegas, a car ride to AC, or from the comfort of your own home. It's a lot of fun to practice.
Yes.
Card Counter makes it easy and fun. If you love TMOS, please leave a 5-star review for Card Counter. Remember, we said it before, it's free, and we'd love you to check out Card Counter free. That is another big win from TM Soft. So our friend Todd Moore, at it again, Todd. Do it again, baby.
Finger on the pulse of America. This is what America wants. This is what America loves. America loves to win big at casinos, Mike. Win!
Win, baby. Was it over the weekend, Rob, or earlier in the week?
I believe it was Monday that the actual encounter took place.
So apparently Julia goes into school and they're winding down. 'Tis the season.
Oh, and she can tell us.
month.
She can tell us how many days there are till the last day of school, how many school days there are to the last day of school. She has definitely got her eye on the prize.
Absolutely. And so as they're winding down, you have to recount exactly what she said to you guys, because it's pretty damn funny.
You require a bit of background. And did your girls go through SOL testing?
Yes, absolutely.
Standards of learning testing.
I
Oscar?
went to ESOL.
What is that's English as a second language?
Yes.
No, it's different than that.
No.
But what happens is the school preps the kids for something called SOL tests, and these are very important, not for the student, but for the school. Because
we had Iowa tests when I was. Hey, way to go, Steve Bridges. We had Iowa tests when I was there, and now I always thought the SOL test was to figure out which kids are shit out of luck
hey,
when it comes to getting into college.
Hey, I'm SOL. Let's put you in the remedial school.
You know what? You're closer than you think. Because the whole year is really based around getting the kids to a certain level of standards of learning. And they actually beat the kids into such a frenzy that
This is Brian. He'll be going to Duke University. Peter, unfortunately, you're SOL. So make sure you get that car set to go to that Northern Virginia Community College.
That's right. SOL VCU. That's an old code.
Very good.
The kids are told that you say, if you don't think you're going to do well on the math SOL, you might want to come in during lunch, or even on Saturdays. They'll have kids come in and study to make sure they get this benchmark learning. But the kids...
Now, can I stop you right there?
Of course.
I should know this because I have kids
right.
in high school, and I've had kids in the public school system and in diapers. Thank you, Rob. Thanks. Thank you.
The king. Peaches.
should be more like, yeah. I'll die.
No, so, not with the new hip.
Oh, the hip.
So anyway.
Get a warranty, by the way.
Oh, my goodness. You could take your old hip, you could put it under plexiglass, and you could leave it there. Right. So when Michael grows up, you're like, and this is my father's hip?
That's right.
Yeah, thank you.
Exactly.
It's a great idea. Again, I'll write
like
that
a brontosaurus.
Oh, it could go into a Radio Hall of Fame or something.
Oh, so eBay that
SOLs are not for the kids to...
No.
Like, if you get a good... They don't get credit for the
They don't
the
even
scores.
get a grade on it. They get a score, but it doesn't affect their grade. And
right, but so they absolutely... It's almost anonymity, right?
Yes, and the problem is that school funding is based on success of SOL. So it starts at the principal and it goes right on down to the teachers that this is really what the school year has become. Julia had a friend who was almost in tears before she took her math SOL because she was afraid if she did badly, she wouldn't get into college. She's in 7th grade. And she's worrying about college. And that is an instilled fear from the faculty. Yeah. And you know what?
Now, wait a minute. So does the SOL, do the results go anywhere where they say, Jane Doe, she took the SOL, got a bad grade on it, so she's not going to be... That doesn't happen, correct?
No, they'll always use the sort of loosey-goosey excuse of, these scores go into your permanent file.
These are mob tactics, Mike.
They are.
Mob tactics. If the students don't do well, the school overall gets a bad grade, and they don't get the funding that they want.
Exactly. Now, I understand the importance of the school getting funded, but you know what? I don't understand the value of whipping the kids into a tearful frenzy.
Well, then tell them not to take them.
And that's what. So I actually had a sit down with Julia last weekend, and I said, you know what? First of all, you don't need to worry because you're the smartest kid in your school. And you're going to do fine.
Baby.
You're going to do fine. You're carrying your 4.0 and you're doing great. But if you go in there and do the best you can.
Thank God it skips a generation.
Hey! I just caught that because I'm so stupid. But I said, don't sweat it. It doesn't affect your future. It doesn't even affect you. It doesn't affect your report card. All it does is makes the school look good. And guess what? You've done that for your entire life. You've made every school you go to look good.
You've done enough.
You've done enough. Just go there and do it. But now that the SOLs are completing, and then there's Robert, who I said, how was your day? He said, yeah, I took my science SOLs. I said, how was it? And he walks away. He doesn't care. And you know what? I think he's better.
He's going to have a good time in Maine, though.
He is.
He's going to have a great time in Maine.
He is so into it.
You tell him we're going to eat lobster every day.
Oh,
we're going to eat a lot.
Like kings.
Yeah, he's going to look like Augustus Gloop when he comes home.
You're going to have a day. Every now and then, Rob, you'll be walking through that big house up there and say, has anybody seen Robert III? I don't know. Mike and Robert went up to the store to pick up some stuff.
Yeah,
and that's just an excuse. You remember that place? That's just an excuse where we stop at that little roadside stand.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I haven't even told him about the existence of lobster sandwiches, lobster rolls.
Right.
Oh, he'll flip. He'll think it's the greatest thing in the
world.
world.
Well, the difference, the dynamic now with Robert III will be I will be practicing with Robert III for, Michael William, because I study little boys everywhere as far as the way they interact.
Creepy.
Yeah,
No, I don't mean it in that creepy way, you sons of bitches. I will look at little
says
kids.
that any other way but creepy.
Yeah, there's really no charming way to say that.
No, when I see
I like
a
to study
4-year-old
little
boy
boys.
in a grocery store and the way they interact with their parents, I am a student of that.
I wonder
because
if he'll set himself free and go to a different aisle.
God.
Maybe that.
I can't win today. I can't win today with you
You did
guys.
it to yourself.
You really
I
did.
can't-
You're
I know.
hoping that boy finds the Captain Crunch aisle and you can be all alone and you can
That's
talk
right.
to him.
You can quietly approach him in your motorized grocery
Yes.
cart. You
Yeah.
pick
You've
up the
taken
key
something-
when you go in.
You've taken something beautiful and turned it into something horrible.
I don't know.
You
I think
bastards.
it started out pretty bad.
Back to your studies.
Yes.
Yes, go ahead. Just study. Because this gets to the teachers after the SOL when the teachers
Oh, they give up.
DGS.
They absolutely give up because Julia
DGAS.
don't give a
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
got it. Yeah.
So Julia's favorite class is she has A day and B day. So each day has a different schedule.
A and B.
A and B. On
We
the
can
B
follow.
schedule, she has a 2-hour communications class.
I've always wanted a house with a B-day.
Mike, because there you really can't overemphasize cleanliness, can you?
So messy.
Yeah. You know what? You can tell the little boy about that at the grocery store.
Okay. All right. Well,
Do
that'll
you
be
want
quite
to see
enough
the
of
world's
that.
biggest water fountain?
All
How
right,
would you
that's
like to see a
nasty.
toilet that goes the other way?
Okay. That's
man.
very disturbing.
Do you like
now
movies about gladiators?
get your mind out of the
Have you
gutter.
been to Disney World? I have got one of those fountains in my bathroom.
All right. Continue, God damn it, Rob.
So after the SOLs are done and they're winding up now, really, for all intents and purposes, the school year for the teachers are over because they've done what they need to do.
Yeah.
They'll still do the grades and
Yeah, but
stuff.
you're punting. This is punting season.
So Julia's favorite day, B day, her favorite B day. Now I can't even say it.
Right.
You've ruined it for me.
B-day.
On B day, on her bidet, she goes in and she has a communications class, and they've studied all facets of communications.
What grade is she in?
7th grade.
7th grade, they have communications.
But
That's
you see,
pretty cool.
it's neat. This is the class where they do the morning announcements, which are video announcements. They do like a little newscast in the morning. They've studied television. They've studied
That is awesome.
radio. I've never been asked to come into
Hey,
the class.
kids, we got a
which makes me
special
feel
guest
great.
today. He's going to lecture the 7th graders. Tom Curine's coming in today.
They ask you to do all the announcements.
I have never once been asked into the communications
To
class. That
talk.
kind of hurt. But
That-
they let me host the talent show.
Yeah, they do let you do all the monkey jobs.
Yeah.
Where you can't even come in and inspire
Can't
people.
advance the kids. Well,
You've
probably
never been.
because-
Have you ever been? You've been asked to speak in front of a class before, haven't you?
I've done like back to school. I have done the back to no. What is it? No, career day, not back to school.
Career. You've never been asked to lecture class.
I've assisted in classrooms, but I don't think I've ever spoken to a class.
I
no.
have been asked. I have said no more to that than anything else because it scares the crap out of me.
Why? Kids are the greatest audience.
I can speak to a group of 800 or 2,000. I am petrified to get into a lecture hall with like 12 people in there. I don't like that.
I think it's fun. I would do
I don't
it
like
in a
that at all.
second.
That's where there's a little secret you didn't know about me. Not just my hip. I'm afraid of talking to a small classroom, especially like high school students.
I spoke
the
to a
most
group
cynical of all.
of kindergartners once. It was great.
Did you really?
Yeah, because
Did you treat them as equals?
My roommate in college was a educational major, and she had her little.
He opened
kindergarten
his lecture
class.
with "Hello, fellow IQs,"
And then he said, "I'm here because she's an educational major."
I don't know what kind of major that is. But whatever. She wanted to be a teacher and she had lesson plans. So she had to bring in somebody to talk about a career. And I was a DJ in college. So she's like, the kids will like this. So when I walked in, I lied for a good 40 minutes about NSYNC and Britney Spears, and they loved it. They were their eyes wide open.
Did you lie about who you'd met?
Oh, no, I said Justin Timberlake comes over all the time. Britney's on the phone. I got to take this call, and I'll see you kids later. You stay in school and don't do drugs.
That's the reason I have not been asked. You've ruined it for everybody.
What? No,
You've
come
ruined it
on.
for
That was
everybody.
in West Virginia.
Okay.
So where we are now is the SOLs have wound down and pretty much over now, right?
It is the fun time. It is the last, I think they're down to like 18 or 19 school days. And so Julia comes home and talking to her mom and says, "How was school?" She says, "Well, communications was fun." And Carrie says, "What happened?" She says, "Well, we were talking about puppets. So Mrs. Wright put on the Muppet movie. I guess she's just given up."
Oh, my God.
Is that cool? That's the thing they put online that I read.
Jesus.
She's just given up. She's given up.
But
You
it's
put
so
that
true.
online?
That is so true, yeah.
What if her teacher sees that?
Then she'll know that we're on to her.
Oh, my
Because
God.
she has given up. And maybe we would put it on if she asked me in.
I remember the great traditional wheeling in of the projector. Are you old enough to have that, Rob?
Absolutely.
Where they would wheel in the projector. And I remember, I don't know what class it was in, but because, between English and social studies, there's not a movie that's been made where you couldn't justify it in some particular way.
Oh, we took like 4 days in English to watch the Zeffirelli version of Romeo and Juliet because it was like a 3-hour movie. That was like the entire month of June.
You remember? I still will remember
nice cans.
The greatest movie I ever saw in school.
What was it?
Number one, and it still is probably in my top 10 of movies.
What is it?
Cool Hand Luke. We got
In
to see that in
school?
school. Yeah, we got to see that in school.
What grade are you seeing Cool Hand Luke?
It was a long time ago, and I don't remember. I don't remember the class. All I remember is the movie, and it was multi-days, and we got to watch
part
that.
one and part
fantastic. It was fantastic.
Wow.
Huge spools of
fantastic.
16 millimeter film. And sometimes it would miss thread, and it would go. It's like, what the hell is he saying?
We had laser
the
discs.
scene. There's a scene in Cool Hand Luke where the chain gang is out there with George Kennedy, and it's the famous Rob's played clips from it before. Where we have the Lucille, and there's this shot, and we're watching this in school, and the lady with the big boobs is mashing her boobs up against the windshield of the car and getting all sudsed up and soapy. And George Kennedy's reacting to this. And we're watching this in school. It was fantastic. Paul Newman, probably, in my humble opinion, his best movie ever.
Taking care of myself.
Was Cool Hand Luke.
I do believe I don't have that scene. I do have 50 eggs, but I don't have Lucille with me. I believe in Romeo and Juliet there are bare breasts, and I do remember that from my junior year for when Romeo and Juliet get busy, and I believe you get to see her cans. That was pretty great.
You saw bare breasts in school?
I believe so. I could be wrong on this.
Is that even appropriate?
Well, you know what? It was a different time. It was the
for
go-go.
Rob, it doesn't matter. For Rob, it doesn't matter because Rob saw them in the boys' locker room.
Yeah, in the mirror.
In his mirror.
That was the go-go 80s, Oscar. Anything goes.
Yeah, you beat me to the joke. We'll take a break. More fun and more thrills coming up on the Mike O'Mara Show. Everybody!
Baby's good to me, you know she's happy as can be, you know she said so.
Welcome back to the Mike O'Mara Show. You know, the good old days weren't all that great.
That's right, Mike.
I remember back in the days where I had to walk 14 miles to school in my bare feet.
That's right.
And I'd have to walk 15 miles to the post office.
Also in bare feet?
Well, I occasionally would wrap burlap around my feet, but then I would get to the post office and say, this sucks. Technology has changed dramatically since then, but those stupid postage meters haven't. Luckily, there's Stamps.com. We love Stamps.com. Now, we've got this little pipeline going, and by the way, I'd sure like to receive some more gifts from Leesburg, Rob Spiewak.
We have one.
Somebody's been shirking their responsibilities, getting me my stuff.
Love it.
Well, Mike, the gifts, there's a huge wall of gifts waiting for you at my home. Wonderful presents. But I want to send them together, and there's a good presentation for you during the mailbag tomorrow. Wanted to wait and send them all at once.
That wonderful listener that sent me the golf balls?
Yes.
I'd like to tell him that sadly I must announce that all of those golf balls are scattered in the various ponds and woods around the golf course down here in Florida.
How many whales?
Lost them all.
How many whales have you killed?
Oh, it's there. They make such a plaintive sound when they do. We're talking about postage, though. Between Florida and between Virginia and D.C., with Stamps.com, you can do more than you ever did with a postage meter, and you can do it for much less. Buy and print official U.S. postage for any letter or package from your own computer with no extra hardware to buy or lease ever. I mean, ever! No long-term commitments, and you'll save up to 80% versus a meter. Plus, Stamps.com will let you track packages, track spending, and more, so you keep track of those pesky expenses for postage. With Stamps.com, we love it. It keeps our Florida to D.C. pipeline open, and you can act now for a 30-day free, no-risk trial and a $110 bonus offer, including a free digital scale and up to $55 in free postage. Just go to Stamps.com and click on the microphone and use our code TMOS. Don't wait. Go to Stamps.com, and before you do anything else, click the microphone at the top of the homepage and type in TMOS. Remember, Stamps.com and TMOS. You'll never have to go to the post office again.
Mike, we had a listener write in and ask us, well, how does the post office know to come get your package? Because, in the mail, you just put it in little, depending on your house or where you live, you put the little slip up and they pick it up. For a package, It's just clicking a button. You click a button, and it tells the postman that they have to come pick it up. It's on demand. It's pretty cool.
It is awesome.
Yeah, and no longer standing out in your front stoop
No.
going, "Hey, wait a minute, Mr. Postman.
Wait,
Very, very convenient.
Yeah, it is. We love it. What we don't love is untimely death, and I'm here to say, has anybody looked in to the fact that Clay Aiken in the congressional district of North Carolina may indeed be practicing the dark arts?
Yes, the blackest of magic, Mike.
I mean, coincidence. First of all, let's go back. I'm not going to go to the congressional race right now, where there was a runoff election, not a runoff, but a primary for the Democratic nomination for the congressional seat. And Clay Aiken was in a dead heat with this guy, and I emphasize dead heat. And then it was too close to call, and they were going to do this whole recount thing. And then, surprisingly enough, Mr. Crisco, the opponent of Clay Aiken, kind of weird, if you put Crisco and Clay Aiken together. Anyway, Mr. Crisco passed away from a sudden fall. And has anybody gotten any more details as to what really happened to Mr. Crisco?
His neighbor was shocked. That's what he said on TV.
There's a history
I
of
was
this.
shocked.
Because if you remember, Clay Aiken was the runner-up to Ruben Studdard, in American Idol.
Season 1?
Season 2. Season 2. And the world was shocked, but looking back at it now, though Clay Aiken was the runner-up, he actually ended up killing Ruben Studdard's career because he only had that one hit.
Bingo!
Where is he now?
Yeah, and you know
Warlock
what?
powers.
Yes.
Warlock powers.
And if I'm allowed to think outside the box, even though Clay had a very successful career, he didn't have a lot of success in the top 40.
No.
And when you don't have any success in the top 40, and all of a sudden Casey Kasem is missing.
Yes,
Oh my God!
That's right.
Another fact. And also, remember he had that big scandal. Didn't Clay Aiken have a scandal with pictures on the internet and stuff like that?
Oh,
where he was,
yeah.
Have
Remember
we
that.
heard from any of the people that were responsible for that? No, because they're all dead.
Yeah.
There you go. They're all gone. They're all.
And to be
Every one of them, Mike.
and
to
to
a
be fair,
word, they're dead.
the rules of warlocks are what? You have
the
to be
rules of
you have to be albino.
We have to ask.
Yes.
We have to ask Pony. Pony knows all the rules.
Pony, please, if you could tell us what are some of the rules you have to play by as a warlock?
You have to, like Oscar said, you have to be albino. I'm assuming you have to have a magic wand of some sort.
Hey.
You have to have appeared on American Idol at some point in your life, and you have to know magic.
That's right. Oh,
Thank
and
you
there's
very
one
much,
other
Pony.
one, Mike. All warlocks allergic to tree nuts.
Tree
yeah.
nuts.
Yeah.
That's right, tree nuts. It's just very odd, that this little election goes down to where they're talking about having a recount
Within
because
300 votes, I believe.
three or 400 votes. It's ridiculous, and then suddenly the guy turns up dead. Do you think? And incidentally, this is the guy. Clay Aiken is in a district. He's going to be running against a Republican where Mitt Romney got some overwhelming amount of votes. Do you think he has any chance in hell of winning the congressional seat?
Interesting
Because for some
choice
reason,
of words.
Because chance in hell. I'm pulling for Clay Aiken. I have no idea why, but I've seen him interviewed. I like the way he handles it, but below the surface, when you get by his personality, and he seems like a nice enough guy.
Sure.
And he's fairly articulate, and I mean fairly articulate. But when you get below that, you can almost tell that this is just a career choice for the guy. He has no idea.
Oh, I mean,
what
his
he's doing.
talking points are, this is how deep he gets. I want to affect change. I want to serve my electorate. That's it. That's all he's got. And then they always go to a
Rob,
shot.
you sound like you might be campaigning against him.
No, far from
Why
it.
don't you like him?
You know what I want? I want the best man to have the candidate.
He sounded a little personal there, didn't he? He
Yes.
sounded a little personal.
I don't think
Clay
you've ever
Aiken.
liked Clay, though, if I remember correctly.
I don't. He doesn't have a. I think his voice lacks passion and guts.
Do you know why he doesn't like Clay Aiken? Just
Well,
like
tell
why
me,
he
Mike.
doesn't like so many other things, because Clay Aiken is different.
That's right. He's thin.
Rob doesn't like the different.
He's certainly different than me.
He does.
He's much shorter than me.
He is. No.
The
Good luck.
differences are very many.
I think the talent, though, speaks for itself. Because if he has been able to sustain a career after American Idol and still stay relevant, and now is running for Congress, whether he loses or wins, he still wins in my eyes because he's still relevant.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Yeah,
just
this
like
is
Sonny
true.
Bono.
Yeah, he's got a better Q rating if he comes out of this election than he did before. So, and he can still, he's still got those lovely pipes, so he can go out and sing. Right? He probably can sing. He could probably work Branson, couldn't he?
Yeah,
Sure.
And Daughtry's
God,
coming into town in like a month, and people are still going to see him.
Yeah, he's opening
Right.
for the Goo Goo Dolls.
I think we need that kind of fresh-faced gopher factor. Remember Fred Grandy?
Yeah,
a miserable man that I shared an elevator with for about a year over on Jennifer Street.
Was he
when I was
always
working
miserable?
For the rock station. He was always sullen. Always
Wait,
sullen.
like Golfer from
The Love Boat.
He was a disc jockey?
Gopher, here's the way it worked.
Wow.
He was Gopher from the Love Boat.
I don't know this?
Yeah,
He was Gopher from the Love Boat. Then he ran for Congress from Iowa, right?
I believe you're right. Yeah, I'll double check.
I think he was the representative from Iowa. And then after he lost his seat in Congress, he went into talk radio.
He was Grandy and Andy. I didn't know that was him.
Yeah, Grandy and Andy. And Andy
I didn't know it was Golfer.
Live from the Washington Times. He got canned too, didn't he?
Yes, but I didn't know he was Grandy and Andy. Wow.
Yeah, he was Grandy and Andy. And then
I would
see
actually
him,
listened.
And he'd be very sullen. He'd always been very, very, very down.
He's one of the only. He really, Mike, was one of the only congressional representatives to serve on the top tier of the match game. It's true.
Yeah, so we're ready to have that slot filled by Clay Aiken. You get the pop culture guy that goes on to become a congressman.
That's right.
Different party, but I'd like to see it happen.
And it can. What is the natural next step? Is Governor Justin Guarini?
Hey,
yeah, I think.
Speaking of Congress, maybe you can help me out here. I just heard the story yesterday. You probably already knew because you guys know a lot more than I do as far as politics are concerned. Did you know that these guys fly first class all the time?
You mean like people in
like
Congress?
senators,
Of course.
congressmen?
Why do you think National Airport? Why do you think Reagan National is still open? It makes no sense to have an airport in that location, except for the fact it's very convenient for the congressmen and the politicians.
Yeah, but they fly. I mean, the our taxpayer money pays for first class tickets for these guys.
Mm-hmm.
I only one time that I can remember. Well, there were two famous people that I've flown with. I flew with Ethel Kennedy on one flight, and
she hit on you, right?
Well, there's a lot of wine being poured.
I understand.
No.
I understand.
I was so starstruck because I'm such a fan of Bobby Kennedy that I really was almost tongue-tied, but I just told her how much I admired her and the work that she did.
Did you ask her for a locket of her hair?
A lock of her hair. A locket would be a piece of jewelry.
Between taking a sweet moment where I would like to be a better father to my son or meeting an iconic wife of a cut-down political leader, you boys can make it diminished.
No. A lock of her hair wouldn't be
truly,
bad.
No, and then she
appreciate
just
that.
said, "Isn't it time you get back behind the curtain?"
She doesn't talk like they do. Thank you very much. You're in my first class seat. You're blocking me and my mimosa. Thank you very much. And then we turn everybody's into the Howard Stern impression of Ted Kennedy, which I've done for years. I do a Kennedy, but I did Howard's. Era.
Who else did you fly with that was famous?
This is really obscure. William Cohen. He was the Republican from Maine, a congressman, and he went on to be, I think, in a Democratic administration. He went on to be Secretary of. Look up William S. Cohen. I think it's either Defense or State. I'm not sure. I chatted with him because my cousin Teddy used to work for him. So that's it. But they do fly in the front of the plane.
Yeah.
I'm here to tell you.
Are you okay with that though? He was the Secretary of Defense. Wow. Jeez.
Under who?
He was the 20th, and this was from 1997
Clinton,
to
I think.
2001.
Oh, wow.
Bill Clinton,
Cool.
yes.
My dad and I flew once with Al Gore. Does that count?
Really?
Yeah, but it was the shuttle to New York. So even though there was no first class, he did get advanced boarding and did sit in the very front of the plane.
Excuse me. Horny Bob Spiewak, would you please pass me the peanuts? Yes, I'd like to tell you about global warming, but please make sure those are organic, green-friendly peanuts. Thank you, and thanks for flying to LaGuardia.
Mr. Gore.
Like you were there.
Yes.
What about
Hello,
what about
Oscar.
your abductors?
Oh, the
That's right.
abductors.
When you took the massage?
Yeah.
Yeah. Could you please work on my abductors? That's where I'm particularly tight right now.
A lot of tension in your anus.
Oh, you try having breakfast. You have breakfast every morning staring at those soulless eyes of Tipper.
Oh, Tipper.
You try to do that
Well, now
every
he
day.
doesn't. Now he
that's
doesn't.
right.
No,
Are they
no,
split? They're
oh,
split,
they're
right?
done, yeah.
Yeah,
He rolled
It
out.
was like many marriages of convenience in the political arena. Our marriage was indeed a sham.
A sham?
It was a two-syllable word, sham.
He had all that internet money because he invented the internet.
Oh, that's right. He did invent the internet.
You know, speaking of shams or scams, I've been doing a lot of thinking about Florida and what is the issue with this state. You realize that this state is poked fun at more than I think it's right up there with West Virginia as far as people poking, but maybe more so.
It seems to me a more recent phenomenon.
Right, because more news can actually break from Florida now.
Yeah.
Because I think Florida, of all the states in the contiguous United States, is the latest to hook up with like high speed internet. Like they were the last ones to actually get on.
You know, for years with Buzz Burbank on the Don and Mike show, and then on my radio show, and then on the podcast, you know, he would say "Thank you, Florida," and it was, it became a running gag. And I always thought that maybe, just maybe, Buzz was out there mining for gold, really searching for the Florida stories. That is not the case. Now that I do that on a daily basis, I will be going through some of the most heinous criminal stories that you could ever imagine, and funny ones at that, where people do ridiculously funny things. And the first thing, of course, I look for is there an FL after the town they mentioned.
Sure.
And I think we are working at least 60%.
That high.
That's 60% of these stories. Now, I'm saying this because I've been thinking about it a lot. Driving down here based on traffic is blissful compared to where we live back in D.C.
Well, sure. This is the worst traffic in the nation.
As you guys know, even, on a daily basis, we have abysmal traffic around Washington, D.C. So there are a lot of straight lines down here. We don't have beltways. Getting from point A to point B, just the sheer volume of traffic. You don't have as many.
There's
the population's
there's no real industry except for meth down there.
That's
yes,
right.
crystal meth
and
is
that's mostly a stay-at-home industry.
True.
Just around the corner, just around the corner in sunny Fort Myers. Anyway, so you don't have any traffic issues. However, I'm on the road quite frequently, and no signals, getting cut off, people speeding. It's every day. It's really every single time I go out there. Take it to the boat, okay? I go on the boat. They got these little signs up that say, idle zone, no wake. And what that means is, for those people that don't know anything about boating, you cut your engine down to nothing so that your boat slowly goes at about 5 miles per hour, and I'm not exaggerating, through the water, not leaving any kind of a wake. Well, I've been out there, and it's the exception is when someone does that. The exception is when somebody is that nautical music?
It's Mike on his boat. It's a no wake zone, Mike. Throttle back.
I've seen those signs and I've never known what they've actually meant.
That means, did you think it had to do with sleeping?
Or no, I thought people were trying out for a talent show.
You know what? You'd be in the majority down here in Florida. And I was thinking about the fact that when you're down here, there is the word that keeps popping back into my mind is lawlessness.
Yeah, I
there
can see
is
that.
a freedom of spirit down here that at its very best means, hey, don't sweat it. Now, there's plenty of law down here.
Oh, yeah.
There are plenty of sheriff's deputies patrolling
Believe
down here.
that.
But there is an attitude down here, and I think in order for me to be blissful, truly blissful down here, I am going to need to accept the fact that, there's a guy that just went 20 miles an hour through there, and he just kind of looked and waved and smiled. It's like laws. Oh, okay. I moved to Florida to get away from that type of stuff, and that seems to be the vibe that I'm getting down here.
Well, you know what? I'm not going to name names or towns, but we knew a fella who ran a radio station in Florida,
right?
Who had, because of some sort of backroom deal, had a deputy badge. And ran around town like Elvis Presley and raised hell all the time. And
was
so
an absolute party maniac.
Yeah, I don't think we have him anymore. I think we've lost him.
Yeah, I think he's gone on to greener pastures because his lifestyle may have caught up with him. He literally it was so Dodge City, was it not, Rob? Wasn't it like being out with a bunch of outlaws?
You know what?
To be honest, I'll tell a story about this.
It was scary. What I remember about it being, I remember being frightened.
They were scary. They were that kind of like, hey, it's Florida. Yeehaw, come on, boy. Let's get down here and do this. One of the things they did, there was a Super Bowl in Tampa.
Yes.
And we went to the commissioner's party.
Right.
And it was great what they did. They had the tier system at the commission. I've told this story before.
Sure.
You walk into the party, and they give you a little pin with a flashing light. And everybody got these little silver pins, except for the VIPs that got the little gold pins.
Right.
And when the people would leave, they would ask you for their pins so they could reuse them and give them to people. And as you're going in through the silver section, you would get the silver pen, and all the discarded gold pens were in this little bin. And the guy from this radio station, I look at him, and he is scooping his hands full of the gold pins. We get 5 steps inside the front door of this huge party. He rips off our silver pins, puts the gold pin on, and stole these pins right in front of security. The atmosphere of lawless kind of permeates the area down here.
I believe
I'm
he
just
said
very glad
something-
that I have a gate on the door of the community.
I believe he said something to us along the lines of, "Everyone gets an upgrade, son."
Oh my God! I wish I knew this man.
Oh no, you don't.
No.
Anyway,
No, we're
we'll
lucky
take
to
a
be
break,
here.
and we will come back with more news you may not need on the Mike O'Mara Show. Welcome back to the Mike O'Mara Show. Time for news you may not need. Oh, sleep number bed. How do I love thee? Let me count the ways. I fall asleep faster. I sleep better. I wake up more refreshed and alert, and with the strength of 10 men. My sleep number bed allows me the best sleep possible thanks to the exclusive dual air technology. Carla loves it too. My sleep number setting is a 75. Carla bumped hers up this week to an 85 again. She had a little back pain that she wanted to take care of, and she woke up this morning feeling great. They customize your firmness. It's fantastic. Perfect for couples. The sleep number bed uses air to support and cushion your entire body. It contours to your neck, shoulders, back, and hips for more proper spinal alignment. I have never slept on anything better. It's clinically proven to relieve back pain and improve sleep quality. You cannot afford another restless night's sleep, can you? With Sleep Number beds, you can afford their latest innovations, comfortably priced. Hurry into a Sleep Number store to find all beds on sale for the Memorial Day event. Yes, that's all beds, starting at just $649.99 for a C2 Queen mattress. No better sleep. Find your Sleep Number setting today at any one of the 450 Sleep Number stores nationwide. Find one near you by calling 800-511-061. 0061. That number again is 800-511-0061. Don't forget to tell them that Mike O'Mara sent you.
From around the globe, across the nation, looking through your neighbor's window, the Mike O'Mara Show now presents News You May Not Need, a comprehensive look at the stories you may or may not be talking about during your daily activity. And now, News You May Not Need.
Here we go. We talked about it for a long time on the show yesterday. A source, this is the whole Beyonce Solange issue. A source says 2 of Solange's friends showed up to an after party and tried to get in. They weren't invited and they weren't dressed properly, but they kept name-dropping Jay-Z, claiming that they were his guests. Well, management told Jay and Beyonce's people about it, and Jay-Z snapped at Solange, telling her, quote, "Don't use my name." Solange got mad and said she wanted to leave the party, and as they were leaving, Jay-Z announced he was going to another party that Rihanna was hosting. For some reason, this irked Solange even more. The source says, quote, "She seemed drunk and irritated." Now, we don't know who the source is.
No.
We don't know where it came from, but I say planted by Jay-Z's people.
Well, this all makes sense, though.
All the pieces fit. Do you think they could have gotten into the party?
Got the biggest Jay-Z apologist right over here. Jay-Z cannot do anything wrong.
You know
Absolutely.
what? Could the girls have gotten into the party if they had gold pins?
Everyone gets an upgrade.
Yay. Everybody, son.
So the source says she was drunk and irritated. She said, "Why can't you go home?" She then told Beyonce, quote, "Why does your husband need to go to the club right now?" Well, Jay-Z replied, quote, "You're one to talk." And that's when Solange attacked.
Okay.
According to the
Basically
source.
calling her a creeper.
Yeah. Beyonce
Creeper.
posted a prayer. Beyonce posted a prayer.
How nice.
Asking God for the strength to, quote, "separate myself from anyone who is not a good influence."
Whoa.
Well, I have the same prayer.
Yeah. Each and every day.
Every day.
Whatever the case, TMZ claims Jay-Z and Solange were spotted jewelry shopping yesterday. Isn't that?
Oh, must be nice.
Yeah, that must be nice.
Hey, crazy. Here's 4 carats. Settle down.
Yeah.
Beleaguered singer-songwriter Justin Bieber has been accused in an attempted robbery in the Los Angeles area. That's according to the LAPD. The alleged victim reported the incident to police Monday at 10:30 West Coast time, and that alleged victim was being interviewed by police late last night. Bieber is 20 years old. He has not been questioned by police, and he has not been arrested as of yesterday. No details are available as to whether the alleged incident took place at home, business, or some other site. So once again, another punk move. This is on the heels of him skateboarding next to like an SUV on the streets of Los Angeles.
He is so misunderstood. Deep down, he's such a good kid. Why can't he get a fair shake?
Right. And you know what they say about the good?
What's that?
I don't know. Anyway.
How do you think he did on his SOL test?
He was definitely at school the day they watched the Muppets.
He just seems to be. I think he's pissed off.
Yeah,
I think he's pissed off that he's had his childhood stolen from him, and he's touring all the time and he's acting out. He's got Mama looks like an older sister whenever you see them at the Clippers game together.
Yeah.
It's very, very. But that's as much as I will ever defend Justin Bieber. I still think he's a little punk a-hole, and if he was a little brighter and had a 1 ounce of introspection, he might not be getting into all
An
this
ass
crap
whooping. An ass whooping fixes
an
everything.
ass whooping.
That's right.
That's what he needs, man. He needs an ass whooping and a good one now.
Do you think Solange could do it?
She might.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Team Coco will continue to play for TBS for 4 more years.
Good.
Rob, I know you like Conan O'Brien.
I do. He's a funny man.
The network says Conan will be sticking around with his late-night hour through 2018. I'm all for Coco. I'm all for Conan O'Brien sticking around. But is this not the corporate suits just one right after the other? They're the biggest bunch of lemmings. We got to book him. We got to line him up. We got to lock him up to a big deal. We got to make a big announcement for it. They just no original thinking at all.
They're like elephants that grab the tail of the elephant in front of them, but they're just walking in circles.
Oh, wow.
Conan premiered on TBS on November 2010. It airs Monday through Thursday at 11 Eastern Time. I don't know anybody that watches it, to be honest
check
with
in. You know what? For me, it's guest dependent, but it's never time badly spent. And he's also one of the best hosts right now of the younger guys about letting a guest shine. That's what he shares with Johnny.
And
he lets a guest be funny.
He gets not on the level of Jimmy Kimmel, but he gets his videos. I watch most of his show after the fact, and people are like, "Did you see what happened on Conan?"
Just trying to adjust my camera. I'm sorry.
I think you look good.
Catch me doing that?
No, I think you look good. Let's sign you up for 4 more years.
Oscar gets very frustrated with my camera.
No, it's
shot.
okay.
It's not perfect.
As long
Thank
as
you
you're
very much.
talking and moving, that's all that matters.
Thank you. Alec Baldwin was handcuffed in New York City on Tuesday. Did you know about this?
I did. He's a jerk.
He was riding his bike in the wrong direction uptown rather than downtown. I wonder how Dantown feels about this.
When you're alone and life is making you lonely, you can always go downtown.
You
Thank
hump.
He's a good guy.
Oh, he's no Patrick McHugh.
Hey, happy birthday to Patrick McHugh.
Happy birthday, and many, many more.
Yeah, I agree.
The 30 Rock alum was photographed as he was being handcuffed by the NYPD on Thursday. Baldwin, for his part, expressed his anger via social media following his arrest. Officer Moreno, badge number 23388, arrested me and handcuffed me for going the wrong way on Fifth Avenue, he tweeted. Meanwhile, photographers outside my home once again terrified my daughter and nearly hit her with a camera. He's an angry dude, man, all the time.
Always.
Alec, get some therapy.
Meanwhile,
It's
Stephen
terrible.
Baldwin has 2 unpaid parking tickets.
A source tells Us Weekly the longtime Manhattan resident was also taken downtown because he did not have an ID on him.
Downtown.
Baldwin tweeted again, New York City is a mismanaged carnival of stupidity that is desperate for revenue and anxious to criminalize behavior once thought benign.
Is he kidding?
I love that line, though. A carnival?
A carnival.
It's a mismanaged
carnival
carnival.
of mismanagement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Way
can
to go,
relate.
Alec. Thank you. Remember yesterday we were talking about Dolly Parton's tattoos on her
Yes,
boobs?
her fabulous big tattoo flowers, right?
Yeah, she admitted to having some ink. She says, quote, let me just get the processor here.
Please.
Dolly Parton says, quote,
I have a few tattoos, but they were mostly done to cover scars because I'm so fair.
That was a
Fair.
terrible
Oh.
Dolly Parton. She says, I do have a few little tattoos, but they were mostly done to cover some scars.
Oh, you see, do you remember when I said
Pretty nasty
Stretch
there,
marks?
isn't it?
Remember when I said that the tattoos on those melons, it ruined it for me?
Yeah.
Now the tattoos are not my main concern. Now
you.
it's the scars that are so bad they require what? Like some sort of a misdirection? These
Yeah.
tattoos to cover scars? Yeah.
She said it started with that, and she's not really one to have tattoos, but she does have a few, and they're not where you can see them. Other than a colorful cover-up to her scars, the godmother to Miley Cyrus revealed another purpose for the hidden art.
What's that?
Parton said, they're mostly for my husband.
Oh.
Yeah, lick my scars.
Oh,
You know what the
God.
sad thing is, Mike? Is 3 of the tattoos are actually tattoos of scars.
Thank you.
Bad idea.
Get the tulips.
Well, we started out with this on the show today. After Donald Sterling bashed Magic on AC 360, Magic had his turn with Anderson Cooper.
Yeah.
Johnson told him that Sterling still hasn't apologized to him. He expressed frustration that Sterling questioned his commitment to improving urban America. Magic said, I just feel sorry for him. I really do. It's sad. You'd think a man like that would be educated. I don't blame anybody else for my HIV. I know what I did was wrong, but I'd like to think I helped some people. Magic's foundation, by the way, has donated millions to HIV causes. Cooper also asked Johnson about Sterling's claim that the Clippers players still love him. Magic said, now he is delusional.
Mm-hmm.
He said, pointing out that not only do the LA Clippers players not like Sterling, but no players in the NBA like him. Quote, he can't buy his way out of this one. Donald Sterling is not welcome back in the NBA.
Wow.
Magic came off looking pretty good during that interview.
Yeah,
I'm glad that he did it.
I am too. I'm, as far as Sterling grasping, almost so bad that you would think it was pre-designed, but I think he's just out of it.
Yeah.
And now a little something, boys. Flatizas. Are you familiar with those at Subway?
It's their new pizza thing,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
There you go. Way to go, Rob Spewak.
I keep my finger on the pulse of the cholesterol public.
Oh, can I have that Flateza? That looks healthy.
Flatizas are so new, we didn't know they already had diehard fans, but apparently 37-year-old Bevalente Machette Hall of
yes.
Gastonia, North Carolina is the first.
You can't have Gastonia without gas.
Bevalente was at a Subway last week and ordered a Flatiza. Do I need to go any further when you just say Bevalente ordered a Flatiza?
Bevalente Flatiza. He's just so good, as big as your head.
I'm going over there to get that Flatiza you like so bad. Well, apparently the employees put marinara sauce on it instead of pizza sauce.
Oh, shut the back door.
Oh, my God.
That seems, Rob, I would think that was a very minor difference, but
I don't know that there is a difference, especially at Subway.
not a big difference to an old school Flatiza purist like Bevalente.
Yes.
She remembers back to the good old days of April 2014 when Flatizas always came with pizza sauce.
Always, Oscar.
Yeah.
So she did what Bevalente should do in a situation like that.
What's that?
She called 911.
Of course she did.
no.
Oh, Bev. And you know what?
It's like a $3.99 Flateza.
I bet a lot of her friends call her Bev.
Bevalente.
Yeah.
The 911 dispatcher told her that really isn't what 911 is for, and she hung up. But Bevalente called her again.
Yes.
This time, the dispatcher heard her screaming at the employees in the background and sent out a cop who arrested Bevalente for misuse of 911. She spent 3 minutes in jail before posting a $2,000 bond.
Wow,
All right?
good for Bev.
And one piece of advice for Bevalente.
Yes.
Bevalente, this is Mike O'Mara talking, okay? It's eat fresh, not be fresh.
Oh!
All right? So there.
There you go.
We'll take a break, come back with more Rob Spewak and the Magic Audio Vault. You are listening to the Mike O'Mara Show. Welcome back to the show. Whoa. We're talking about, this is our big push this week for our good friends at Encore Insurance Services.
Love them.
We would like you to help them to help you. It's that simple. If you help Encore Insurance, they're going to help you, and they're also very supportive of the Mike O'Mara Show. They survey the most highly rated companies in the insurance industry to compare premiums for you, life insurance premiums. Oscar, you never looked back when you got your Oscar life insurance policy.
Peace of mind is priceless, Mike.
He
He's
loves
right,
it.
you know.
Here's what I want you to do, and I want you to do it now, today, this week, whenever it's convenient. 866-347-5748. Get yourself a free life insurance quote. You can also go to smartterm.com and do it via computer. Listen, it is free. There is no obligation. You won't be called on by a salesman. It doesn't work that way. All you do is get a great idea of what it could cost you, and you help the Mike O'Mara Show at the same time. You will find licensed disclaimer and quality customer service at smartterm.com. Stop paying too much for life insurance. Protect your family the smart way at smartterm.com. And now, without further ado, we open up the audio vault for Wednesday, May 14, 2014, Rob.
Let's take a step back when we were talking about Solange and Jay-Z.
Yes.
For a few moments yesterday, rapper 50 Cent had made his own narration for the video that I find very entertaining. He put it up on Instagram and then took it down, but since so many people shared it, we still have access to it. So at least in 50 Cent's mind, if you play this audio against the video, this is what was going on in the elevator.
Now, what was that slick you said? Nah, this that Marcy shit, nigga. This is Houston. Get the off of me. We get your ass kicked. We don't you never in your life try to play me with your I will you up, Jay. I'll you up.
Now, in the days of the rap wars, do you think they'd be posting on Instagram?
No,
I don't know.
But the fact that he had the time to do a
do that,
voiceover
right?
for it
I
is
know.
effing hilarious.
He needs to work on his character voices.
Yeah.
But I thought it was very, very entertaining.
Now, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Is this a situation that could ever escalate, and is there any bad blood between Jay and 50 Cent?
Oh, no, I don't think so. Though, if this became some sort of rap hip-hop war, it'd be great for both of them, especially 50 Cent these days. Though, he's got all that vitamin water money.
He's got vitamin water money, but I
Yeah.
still think you ought to make that name change. This is the time to do it. Change the name to Have a Dollar.
Do you know?
His new rap name, Mike, is Bevolante Havadala.
Do you know? quick sidebar. You know, Beats is supposed to be bought by Apple. The
Yes.
Beats headphones.
Right.
Dr. Dre stands to make $680 million off that one deal.
Wow.
That well, let me see if I can hip it up for our younger listeners. That is some serious scratch.
And when
Thank
you
you.
start a rap war on Instagram, do you reply on Instagram or do you pin it on Pinterest? I don't know.
It's got to be Instagram to Instagram, Pinterest to Pinterest.
right.
You can't cross the streams.
Understood. You see, this is why, Mike, I had to get out of the rapping game. I just
I
didn't understand.
Well,
Yeah.
if you'd stayed in, you would have made more scratch.
Yes, I would have made $50. Centerville, Iowa, Mike. That is in the southern part of the state.
A lot of
And-
rappers up there.
And a guy was pulled over, and a guy was writing him a ticket during sort of a windy day. It was a thunderstorm. This is what it sounds like when a tree falls on an officer writing you a ticket. All right?
Oh, my God.
Centerville 128. I need officers to respond.
The cop only received minor injuries because...
Oh, thank God for that. Good.
Because I wouldn't have played it otherwise because the tree crushed the car. The car took the brunt of the...
Can I hear that again?
my
Can I
Absolutely.
hear that? Is that the guy getting the ticket that called?
It was the dash cam that captured it, and there was someone in the car with the dash cam watching
Oh.
the whole thing go down.
Okay, all right.
Centerville 128. I need officers to respond.
The car was totaled, and I
Is
think
that a
was-
ride-along, do you think, that was in there?
I
Yeah.
think it sounded like it was another cop because he was so
Wow,
calm about
scary.
it. It was the car was damaged so badly.
Officer Meg, I'll be riding right back here in the car. You go out and make the call. Oh, my. Hello?
Central
Hello?
Iowa?
Hello?
South Central
South-
Iowa, yeah.
Looks like they're not going to the lumberyard 2 tonight.
Lumberyard too. The guy did not get.
Oh, yeah.
Son of your days.
Yes. Mike, the guy did not get a ticket because the car was totaled, so they let
Yes.
him off on the malfunctioning headlight charge. I
him.
think Godzilla opens at least in selected cities this week.
Bryan Cranston, baby.
And this is funny. The marketing department of the Smithsonian. The marketing department of Godzilla contacted the Smithsonian and spoke to Master Sergeant Jason Edwards, who is stationed in Okinawa, and said, how would the military actually fight Godzilla? And this is a
Okay.
true answer. I think this is a riot.
Well, I think Godzilla would be expecting an aerial attack. So To catch him off guard, I think we would need 4,000 segways and slingshots. Well, I could go with Chuck Norris, but that would be the obvious one. As I understand it, the Power Rangers, probably a good choice in this type of scenario. Chief CZ, Bruce Lee, the Incredible Hulk, the CG one, not the Lou Ferrigno one, Tom Brokaw, and George W. Bush.
So you're telling me there's a chance we can defeat him? That's your Magic Audio Vault. Have a great Wednesday, everybody.
Thank you, boys. For all technical support issues with the Mike O'Mara Show, you can contact our Sugar Glider Wrangler, Ponyboy at MikeO'MaraShow.com. All correspondence, candy, gifts, postcards, golf balls can be sent to TMOS, P.O. Box 2796, Leesburg, Virginia, 20177. And remember our official e-voice hotline. We actually play some emails occasionally on the show. You can call us anytime, open all day and all night at 800-440-8167. For Rob Spiewak and Oscar Santana, this is Mike O'Mara saying, see you next time, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Wait, don't go. I need to tell you that MikeO'MaraShow.com/Amazon is perfect for all your online shopping needs. Shop the best way. Shop Amazon. And please go through our website, always open at MikeO'MaraShow.com/Amazon.
Mike O'Mara, Radio Entertainment.